All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am Ebony James, and I also have here with me my colleagues, Kashaya Hindinya and Rebecca McIsaac. We are with the Child Nutrition Programs here at the Food and Nutrition Service. We will be taking questions at the end of this call. As I just mentioned, please use the Q&A feature on the right side of the screen at any time to type in your questions, and we will address as many as we can at the end. You may have to select the three dots at the bottom to open up this option. We have lots of great information to share, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So let's begin with a quick poll. We would like to get to know all of you just a little bit better. Please select the answer that best describes where you work. Do you work at the school district level, or are you with a state agency office? Do you work with F&S at a regional or a national office? And if none of these answers fit you, then select other. All right, let's see who we have today. All right, so the majority of everyone is from schools. We have some state agency and some F&S and then some others. Whoever you are, we appreciate you being here and we welcome you. All right, thanks for taking the poll. So today we will cover an overview of professional standards, enhancements of the Professional Standards Training Tracker tool, followed by a demonstration of the tool. We will then introduce some additional resources, and we will conclude today's webinar with any questions you may have. The learning objectives for this webinar training are Key Area 3000, which is administration, Training Topic 3400, which is human resources, and 3200, program management, and learning objectives are 3430, develop and track employee training plans, and 3210, staff management. Since we may have some of you who are new to school nutrition, we will start with a quick overview of the professional standards rule. And for those of you who are the seasoned professionals, this will serve as a refresher. So what are professional standards for school nutrition professionals? They are a key provision of the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010. They were designed to help advance the field of school nutrition by establishing minimum hiring and annual training standards. The Professional Standards Rule went into effect July 1st, 2015. It is the first rule that establishes professional standards for employees that manage and operate the National School Lunch and School Breakfast programs. The final rule establishes minimum hiring standards for new state and local directors of school nutrition programs and annual continuing education and training requirements for all school nutrition professionals. The new standards also apply to state directors of distributing agencies. So why are these required? By requiring professional standards, Congress recognizes the important role of school nutrition professionals and their impact on the well-being of millions of school children nationwide. Let's talk a little bit about the goals. The hiring standards for new state and local directors ensure that those administering and operating the school nutrition programs in the years ahead have a solid foundation to carry out their duties. The goal is to select the most qualified candidates to serve in the school nutrition programs. The annual training standards help ensure that all school nutrition personnel continue to develop their skills and expertise. We commend our schools for making so much progress in offering healthier options during the school day. Many of our kids spend the majority of their waking hours each day in school, and they consume half their daily calories from school meals. By enhancing school nutrition careers, we're giving our hardworking and caring professionals, that's you, the tools and trainings needed to ensure that our children are healthy, engaged, and that they are productive learners. The goal of professional standards for school nutrition personnel is to assist state agencies and SFAs with hiring, training, and retaining qualified school nutrition staff, also to enhance the public image of school nutrition professionals, and to build skills and empower school nutrition staff to exceed the expectations of students and comply with federal requirements. So we have some new hiring flexibilities that came into play. On March 1st, 2019, USDA added 4 flexibilities to the hiring standards for new school nutrition program directors in small local educational agencies and new state directors of school nutrition programs under the professional standards regulations for the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. First, to address hiring challenges faced by small LEAs, which is local educational agencies, which are those that have 2,499 or fewer students, this rule requires relevant food service experience rather than school nutrition program experience for new school nutrition program directors. Second, it provides state agencies with discretion to consider documented, volunteer, or unpaid work as relevant experience for new school nutrition program directors in LEAs with 2,499 or fewer students. Third, it gives state agencies discretion to accept less than the required years of food service experience when an applicant for a new director position in an LEA with fewer than 500 students has the minimum required education. And lastly, this rule adds flexibility to the hiring standards for state directors of school nutrition programs by allowing state agencies to consider applicants with either a bachelor's or an advanced degree in specified fields. So these changes were expected to expand the pool of candidates qualified to serve as leaders in the school nutrition programs while continuing to ensure that school nutrition professionals are able to perform their duties effectively and efficiently. Training requirements. Let's talk a little bit about those. The final rule clarifies that training needs are determined based on an individual's job. So therefore, to determine who needs to meet the training standards, it focuses on an individual's job duties rather than on their job titles. So there are training requirements for directors and managers and all other staff. For clarification, if an individual performs several jobs, he or she has to meet the annual training standards for the higher position. So another part of the final rule also requires that state agency directors must receive and give training each school year. The receive requirement for state agency directors is that state agency directors must receive a minimum of 15 hours of training or continuing education each year. They must also ensure that state agency staff receive annual training. The provide requirement for state agency directors is that state directors of school nutrition programs must also provide or ensure that school food authorities receive a minimum of 18 hours of training to SFAs each year. Recommended training topics are specified in the final rule. State directors of distributing agencies must also provide annual training to their state agency staff or ensure that the staff receives annual training. No specific number of hours is required, but there are recommended training topics for state agency staff. The state agency may partner with other entities to offer this training. Annual training requirements apply to the 12 months between July 1st and June 30th. All right, poll time. Let's try a trivia question. So school nutrition professionals must use USDA's Professional Standards Training Tracker tool in order to log their required annual training. Is this true or false? Let's see the results. All right, we have 51% coming in at false, and the answer is false. It is not mandatory to use USDA's Professional Standards Training Tracker tool, which you will hear us refer to as the PSTTT throughout the presentation. The PSTTT is a free and voluntary resource for you to use. The final rule requires each school food authority to maintain records that annually documents compliance with the professional standards requirements for all school nutrition program employees. Documentation must be adequate to support the state's satisfaction during administrative reviews that employees are meeting the minimum professional standards. In efforts to assist with tracking and record keeping of all required trainings, FNS developed the Professional Standards Training Tracker tool version 1.0, which was downloadable. We took into consideration all the feedback that we received on this first tool, and we put efforts into making a revised version, applying your feedback and addressing many of the issues that were encountered on the first tool. So as you may know, we released a web-based PSTTT in November 2017. The online version provides great features such as allowing managers to enter training for multiple employees, running reports, editing files, and auto-populating school contact information. The PSTTT shows managers and staff how many training courses and hours are taken and how many hours remain to be completed to fulfill the annual training requirement. So this online tool provides a lot of great features, such as the auto-populating of school contact information to easily set up your profile. It allows managers to set up an employee roster and enter or edit training records for multiple employees at one time, and it also offers the ability to run different types of reports. The PSTTT also provides a list of trainings from the Professional Standards Training Database that users can select, and the course information and training hours will auto-populate, making this tool more user-friendly and easy to navigate. It's been a little while since we last did a webinar to showcase the tool, so during today's webinar, while we are demonstrating the tool, we'll highlight all the updates we've done since our last webinar in August of 2020. Over the past year, we have continued to streamline the tool based on your feedback. So users are now able to add training in increments of 5 minutes. Previously, that was limited to 15-minute increments. Users are also able to add an alphanumeric employee identification number designed to make logging and tracking training easier for districts that have employees with the same or similar names. Users can also access their own training history and print certificates of completion from the welcome menu. They can conveniently log training and access the training title list, which can all be done from the Trainings tab on the toolbar, which you'll see soon. Users can also upload multiple new training titles and training information at one time to be included on the PSTTT training title list. For our manager and director users, they can view log trainings for employees from the same training tab. They can also deactivate an employee if they no longer work for the district. They can edit names and emails for employee profiles not associated with an e-authentication account. They can also manage schools within the district by adding new schools, deleting, and editing existing information. They can also print certificates for themselves from the Print Certificates page. Managers and directors are also able to search by employee identification number when adding training or when searching for employees. They can also include employees with no logging training in a summary report. And then in addition to that, director users are able to edit district information, including name, city, state, and zip. They can create a new district in their state for those districts that are not currently listed in the PSTTT, and they can request enhanced access as a training director if they're responsible for managing multiple districts, including districts in different states. So, as you can see, we value your feedback, so please keep it coming as we are continuously working on enhancing the tool to enrich your user experience. We prioritize based on the number of requests we receive on similar feedback, but we will continue to work our way down the list of your requests or your wishes. So the badge feature, released just last year, makes the completion of annual training requirements exciting by rewarding and motivating staff with badges. Employees can earn a badge for each key area by completing one or more trainings under a specific key area. They can also earn achievement badges, platinum, gold, silver, and bronze, by completing trainings in more than one key area. When you log in, your achievement badges will be visible on your PSTTT homepage. They're also visible to manager or director level users when viewing their employee roster, as well as on the certificate. So training reward badges are also available to download, and they'll also be available soon for team nutrition schools to order in print as part of the guide to professional standards for school nutrition professionals, or you will find them on a separate training reward badge packet, which we will share more information about later on in the presentation. All right, so let's do another poll on who has already used the PSTTT. So who's used it? Who's currently using it? Your manager might be using it. You're registered, but you haven't started using it, or you're using something else, or you're thinking of using it for this current new school year, or maybe you wasn't even aware of it. Let's see what we have. All right. Answers in. Let's see. Okay, we have some people who are currently using it, and some who are using another tool. They're either thinking of using this tool, and some who aren't aware. For those who aren't aware, hey, you're in for a special treat. I'm going to turn it over to Kashaya. She's going to demonstrate the tool and highlight those new enhancements that I just talked about.
Thank you, Ebony. If you already haven't accessed the tool before and it's your first time, you can access the PSTT directly using the web address given on this slide. In the interest of time, I'm going to start the live demonstration here with some screenshots and then move into the actual tool. In addition to highlighting all the new features we have released, I'll also do a review of all the features that exist in the tool. So for some of you who are already using the tool, this will be a review. This is the first screen giving you instructions on how to create an account to enter the system. To access the USDA application online, an e-authentication account is needed. If you already have an account you have created to use for other tools, such as the food buying guide, you can use the same account here. If you do not have an account, you can click on the link provided by clicking Create a new e-auth account. For the first-time users, you can access the training videos on creating an account and logging for the first time. So let's quickly do another poll. Do you already have an e-auth account? Yes or no? Or you're like, what is an e-auth account? Okay, so it looks like most of you, let's see, about 34% of you have already have an account, and there are some of you that do not have it, and some of you are not sure what an e-auth account is. Remember that if you will be the one logging training hours, either for yourself or for others, on an e-auth account is required to access the PSTT. This is required for all USD applications. If you're the person responsible for logging training hours for everyone in your organization, you can create an employee profiles that do not need to be accessed with an e-auth account. For those of you who don't have an e-auth account already, please see the attached handout that is that we're sharing on here, available for you to download, that includes step-by-step instructions where you can also contact us if you need additional assistance in creating an account. Once you have your e-auth account, you can log in to the tracking tool clicking on the button as shown here on the screen, which will take you to a page like this, where you will enter in your e-auth username and password. If you happen to forget your password, you can always reset using the link provided. If you need to update your account, you say your email address changed, or you need to edit your name, you can update your account information here as well. You have the option to edit your email address, the password, and your name. In the past, I know this has been a little bit of problems, but they have enhancements features and that you can do it on your own. We also have a handout available to share with you with detailed steps on this as well. Please note that if you do not use the PSTT often, you should try to log in at least once a calendar year to prevent deactivation due to inactivity of your e-auth account. In the near future, we will add a new feature that sends automatic reminders to log into the inactive e-auth account. Once you log in for the first time to the tool, you will be first prompted to select who you are. The functionality works the same no matter which user you select. Only difference is when you're creating your profile. All information with asterisks are required. The hiring date will automatically default to the current date, so make sure to change that to your actual hire date. The user category is where you will select whether you are a school, state agency, or FNS. Clicking on the accordion here on the top has helpful pointers on setting up your profile. If you select a school, you will see the following screen where you will be prompted to select your role, whether you're a district director, manager, or an employee role. Depending on the role that is selected, you will have different options for job title. For example, if you're an employee, you will have the two options, full-time or part-time. And as an employee role, you're just logging in training for yourself. If you're a director role, you will have the option of the district director, assistant director, manager, all other staff, or part-time staff. For someone that is not the district director but needs to log training for the entire district, this is the way you should set up your profile to see the entire, so that you can see the entire district and be able to log training for everybody. But your profile would indicate the correct job title and respective number of training hours that you need to meet for the year. Manager role just have one job title option. If you are a director role user, you will select your district and proceed to save the profile. You will proceed to select your state and district from the list. The manager and employee role will need to select the school district they're associated with first, and then we have added school districts in the US to our database. The director users will also have the capability to add a new district if their district is not listed. If you're logging on as a manager or an employee role user and happen to not find your district, please let us know and we will assist you in getting the district added. For manager and employee users, after the district is selected, you will be prompted to choose your school. By using the control key, you can select more than one school. To enter in school, so for managers, you may be managing multiple schools, so you can select all the schools that you are associated with. To enter in school information, simply start typing the name of your school and the list of schools appear on the drop-down list and select your school. The managers users have the option to select multiple schools, as I mentioned, and we will also let you know how, if your school is not on the list, how you can add a new school by clicking on the Add New School button, and which will prompt you with this pop-up window where you can enter in your school information to add on to the school database on the tool. You save and go back to see that the school you just added is on the list, then you will be able to select it. Director and manager users also have the ability to edit and add schools to the district in another place within the tool, which I will show in a bit. Notice that the manager field is not a required field here. You can save your profile without identifying who your manager is. If your manager has already created his or her profile, you will see the name appear on the manager drop-down list, which you can select. If you do not see your manager listed, you can still create your profile and proceed. Your manager who is monitoring your training will have your name appear on their employee list automatically. Same thing for the district director, will see all of the employees in his or her district. Manager user, once you select the school or school that you oversee, you will see that all the employees in that school. Other users have similar screens as before with less information that's needed. So for example, for our state agency users on the call right now, you can select the role and the job title and just select which state you belong to. Other fields works the same as we just mentioned. Once you have created your profile, you will be taken to the home page of the PSTT and ready to use the tool. You'll note that the tracker message showing you how many days you have left to complete the required hours for your job title. As you complete training, this tracker will update, and once you have met your annual requirements, you will see the message change to congratulating on the completion of your requirements. Before I head over to the live demo on the tool, let's take a look at just a couple of the features available specifically for the manager and director users. So under the Employees tab here, I'll highlight additional features as we continue to, and I'll continue to highlight additional features as we continue with the demonstration. For those of you who are a manager or director user, you may need to create user profiles for the employees you log trainings for. So these employees do not need to have their own EOT account and do not need to log into the tool themselves. To create a user profile for the employees, from the Employee tab on the toolbar, select the Create User Profile. Notice that it looks the same as when you, as the person logging into the tool, created your own profile. As before, you will enter the required information, first and last name, your role, the employee role, the employee's job title, email, and employee ID number, which as Ebony mentioned, is a new feature we had added per our user request. And also, please note that the hiring date is the default date to the current date. So you will want to edit this to the actual hiring date so that the required annual training hours will match the job title. And if you were creating the profile in the middle of the year, say after January, the tool will automatically adjust the number of required hours to half of what the annual requirements are. You'll notice that the category state and school district information is already filled with the state and district information from you, the person who's logging in, already has on their profile. The role and job title works the same as shown before. And just like when you create your own user profile, the different job titles will be options for the different roles. In this example, we're creating a profile for an employee, so we will need to select either part-time or full-time. The option to assign to a school will come up as well as the add new school button if the school does not appear on the list. And you can also, again, assign to a manager who already has a profile, but again, this is an optional field. Remember that anyone who will be logging in their own training or training for someone else should create their own account using an EOT account, but this is for those employees who do not need to log in, so you can create non-EOT employee profiles. We are excited to announce that coming soon, within the next couple of weeks, manager and director users will be able to do a bulk upload of employee information to create multiple employee profiles at one time instead of doing one at a time. We'll send out an announcement as soon as it is live, and I will give a sneak peek of how this will work in a few minutes. Another new feature available for manager and director users is under the employee tab, you are now able to manage schools. For instance, if a school has a name change, or if you open a new school in the district, you as a manager or a director user can make the change yourself. You can add a new school or edit information for an existing school. And the director users, you can also now manage school district information as well. At this time, I am going to head over to the web tool to do the live demonstration. So here once you have your profile set up and your employees you're logging in training for set up, you're now ready to log in some trainings. So here on the log training page, which you find under the training tab, you go to log training. You can start typing in the name of the training title that you have completed that you want to log in. We have made some updates to this page as well, where you will automatically see the name of the training provider and the type of training is to easily identify when there are, a lot of times they might be similar trainings, but the one that you're looking for may not be exactly the same. This could help to identify it. And let's say you don't find the one that you're looking for because it's not the training the training title is different or the provider is different, you can add a new training title yourself that will be included in the database for anybody else that they can also use as well. So we're going to click on Add New Training Title button, and it will pop up to this screen where you can start putting in the information for the new training title that you want to include. We're going to say reimbursement meals, and notice that it's just by default, it'll be all in caps just for uniformity. And you're going to do the training length. We're going to say 7 hours and 30 minutes. And as Ebony mentioned before, this is an update that we had done. Previously, it was by 15-minute increments that we have changed it to 5-minute increments. And then you want to select we're going to say this was an online training and the provider. And here we're going to select your learning objectives, and you want to make sure select at least one before you can save it. And this is just for test purpose. I'm doing this, that I'm just going to select a couple of them on, and then we can click Save Training Title. And you got the message saying that it was uploaded. And my apologies for we're having a little bit of network issues here in the office. So it is, which is why it's a little bit slow today. So bear with me, please. So once you save it, you'll notice that the training title that you added automatically showed up here with auto-filled in information. So all of the information that is from the training title has come through. What you have left to do is before you log the training, you want to select the training category. Sometimes you can select all of them, and sometimes you may just need to select one or two. For this purpose, I'm just going to select all. And here in the completion date, you want to put the date that you completed your training. And for the school year, you have the option of logging in for the current school year, or let's say you're still logging in your training from the previous school year, so you still have the option to do that. And then for those of you in some of the states, if your state agency allows you, that you might be able to log in training for the next school year up to a certain number of hours. If based on state agency, you can also do that as well. And at any point, you could always come back and edit if you need to update. If you happen to do the wrong school year, you need to update it, you will be able to do that. And if you're logging for you yourself and for everybody else that you're managing or in the district, you'll notice that you're going to see your name. I'm signed on as Deborah. See my name, and then all of the employees in my district. If you're the manager, you'll see the same as well. But if you're an employee who's logging in for themselves, you're just going to see your name. Here, as a director or the manager, with multiple schools, you could also filter by the schools, so you only see, let's say sometimes it might be that only this one school did the training, so only those employees you want to select. You could also, if it's for one particular person, you can search for their name here and it'll come up to easily identify. We have the employee numbers, which we have learned some of these large districts, they try to identify by the employee number. You could also do sort in ascending or descending order. So for our purpose here, I'm just going to select all employees. And log the training in. And once it's logged, you'll get a message saying you're successful, and it's going to take you to your training details page. On this page, you'll see the training title that you logged in, and if it's all the employees you have logged the trainings for. And from this page, you could also edit the training, meaning let's say you need to go back and you put the wrong completion date, or you select this wrong school year, you can go to edit training and do that, as well as you accidentally put a wrong logged it for an employee that did not complete it, you can go and unselect their name, or if you need to add more employees to the training, you can go and add more. And also, let's say if this was a mistake, accident, or it was a duplicate, it was just by mistake that it was not the correct training, you could always delete it and it will be completely deleted from the profile. When we go back to the home page, one thing I wanted to show you is before when we started, you saw that when you didn't have all your hours completed, it'll have the tracker showing how many hours left to complete. Once you have completed it, now it shows that you have completed and you get your congratulations message and the option to print a certificate. And as Ebony mentioned about the reward badges, it appears here as well. And this is for you as the person logging in. And in a bit, I will show you where you can print certificate for your employees as well. Let's go back to the training tab. Let's say for the training title, we used to get a lot of requests where when you added a new training title into the database, it was a typo or accidentally put the wrong hours in. Now you can do those edits yourself. So you're going to look for the training title that you added, and you can search for it here. And I'm going to use this example where opens up the training title details. You can go and edit and make any edits to any of the fields, the title, the length, the format. You can also have the option to delete it, saying if it was a duplicate training that you added by mistake, or you were just testing it out, you can also delete it. Now, as long as you did not already log trainings for anybody, you can delete it. If you did go ahead and log the training, you're going to get a message, and you can contact us and we can help assist you on how to get that deleted. By editing, it's not going to affect if you already have logged the training, it'll automatically update the information. I'm going to go back to the same list. And just to show you that there is another option where you can add the new training title, another place you can add the new training title. And now I'm going to show you our newest feature. One of our latest features is to do a bulk upload. So it could be that you want to add all of your training titles that you have completed for the year, and you know they do not already exist in the database, and you don't want to spend the time doing one at a time. You can now do a bulk upload. And sometimes state agencies, you may enter in all the trainings for your schools to help them out as well. So this is an option everybody can use. So what you're going to do is click on bulk upload training title button. And you're going to see the instructions are going to be available there. And you're going to have a template that you could open up looking like this, and where all of the detail information is there. Pretty much all you have to do is enter in all of the information that has required by the asterisk. And you want to make sure the sample row is deleted. And after you enter all the information, you're going to save it and close it before you upload. We're going to come here to choose the file where you had saved it and upload the file. Once you upload, it's going to show up with all the training titles that you have entered. And if there's any issues with any of them, it's going to automatically show you, such as here where we didn't select there was no minutes selected. So you can either fix it directly on here, or you can go back to your list and fix it and then re-upload. You could also go ahead and import the training titles, and it'll go ahead and import the ones that have had no issues, and then the ones that have issues will be remaining that you can fix. You also have the option to just remove the training title if it was a mistake. You didn't really need to add it on. And then at any time, you could also cancel. So going back to one other thing I want to show under the training tab is the view log training, that where you can see all of the training history of what you have logged in for your employees and yourself. You also have, the person who's logging in, also have another location where you can just do your own training history. Under the welcome menu, my training history, that will be just the person logging in's training history. And from here, you could select the training title and then go and do any kind of edits you need to do as well. Moving on to the employee tab. I had mentioned before that you can create employee profiles that are not EOT accounts for those who needs to log in training for all your employees. So once you create your employee list, you can view the employee list, and you can do it per school year to see if somebody has left. You're going to see for the different school years. If you're searching for a particular employee, you can search for them as well, and all the sorting and by ascending or descending order. This also gives a quick look at your employees, how many hours are required and how many they have completed, and a location where you can see the badges they have earned by the trainings that they have completed. Also under the employee tab, another high request we had received was to be able to deactivate employees yourself. So if any of your staff employees left, the manager or director user can now deactivate your employees yourself. You can search by school to help filter down the employee and you can select the date that you want the deactivation date to be active, activate for, and do the deactivate, select employee. At any time, if they need to be reactivated, you can contact us and we will help you to get them reactivated. Also on here, as I mentioned, print certificate is one location where you can go and print certificates for all your employees and yourself that once you have completed met all your required trainings, that you can easily access and print. Going into reports real quick, we had updated a little bit with the reports as well. You can now select the school year. You can filter by the school, and filter by employees. You can select all employees or select one at a time. Also, under the summary report, we got a frequent request to be able to include not just the employees who have recorded hours, have completed hours, but you also want to see the ones that didn't have not completed hours, so that you can get a quick look at how your employees look. Also, for state agency users, you have the option to look at view reports for your schools. So as a state agency user, you can come here, you can do the reports for your state, or you can select school here, and you notice that your state is automatically auto-filled in, and select the district that you want to look at, and you can select filter by the schools, or look at all the schools and print a report. This might come in handy when you're doing administrative reviews. Also, going back to the welcome page, we did alter this a little bit to make it a little bit more user-friendly for you as the users. So you, as the person logging in, you can easily access all of your information, my training history, print your certificates, update your profile. I want to now go on to talk about a little bit about the new feature that we have available for to be able to log trainings in multiple districts that Ebony mentioned before. So once you set up your user profile, this role works the same way as a district director role. So once you set up your profile initially, you can contact us and let us know that you need to be able to log trainings in multiple districts. Sometimes this could be working with food service management companies that work with a lot of different districts. So as Ebony said, it could be within the same state or different states. Once we have elevated your profile, you can go and add all of the districts that you are working with. You can edit your profile and continue to add or remove districts as needed. And you know the district that you're working in. On this green bar, it'll tell you which district that you're currently working on. And this will be, so the employees will be for this district. When you're logging hours, you'll be logging in just for that district. So you can, when you want to switch over to another district, go to switch district, and you can select a different district to continue working with. One thing to mention, the only difference here from a district director user role that I showed before to for this one is that you cannot log trainings for yourself. You're not going to see any of your training history or your own certificates. If you do need to log training hours for yourself, you can select the district that you want to log the hours for and just go and add yourself as an employee by creating a user profile as an employee profile. So the one last thing, I know we're running short of time. I want to quickly show you is the feature that's coming up soon, the bulk upload of trainings. And I'm going to switch back to the previous one where you have a list, especially, in the past, we worked with you where we send a template and you fill it out and we do it on the back end. Now you can do this all on your own. You have a template, just like you notice that looks similar to what I showed you for the upload bulk training title. So it works the same way. You have the template, you fill out all the information. You're going to choose the file. I have a sample that I have saved here. And just as before, it's going to show whenever you have the ones that have no issues versus the ones that have issues, where you can directly correct them right here or go back to your template. And as before, you can import all the ones that are with no issues and then continue to work on the other ones. And as before, you can cancel anytime and then start all over again. So at this time, I'm going to switch over to Rebecca, who's going to continue to give you a little bit of updates on what we're currently working on, additional updates that we'll be doing.
Great, thanks for that demo, Kashaya. Just give me a moment to get my slides up. All right, so as she mentioned, we are continuously working through a list of wishes from our users. So please continue to send your feedback that can enhance your user experience with the PSTTT. We'd like to share some additional features we are working on that were all inspired by user requests. First is the automated email notification for those users who have not logged into the tool in close to a year. The email will prompt users to log into the tool to prevent deactivation of their EOS account due to inactivity. Second is the ability to import training history that was recorded prior to using the tool, perhaps on another tool or another form. And lastly is the ability to record prior years of training earlier than the previous school year. Currently, users can log training for the current and previous year, but soon the tool will allow you to log past years as well. When these features are made available, we will send out an announcement, so please be on the lookout. And now we have a couple trivia questions just to test your knowledge. First one is a true or false. You can add training titles with training durations and increments of 5 minutes. We touched on this during our talk, so go ahead and answer. We'll see the results. And well done. The answer is true. Previously, it had been 15 minutes, but now you're able to log in increments of 5. Next one. Manager and director level users can do all the following on the PSTT except A, deactivate employees, B, reactivate employees, C, bulk upload multiple training titles, or D, create and edit non-EOS user profiles. So please answer your poll. The correct answer is actually B, reactivate employees. So if you're a manager or a director, you can do all the other options. Next one, true or false? Users can find their own training history and certificates under the Welcome tab. True or false? And results. Correct. This is true. You can find your own training history under Welcome tab. Reminder, if you're a manager or a director user, as Kashaya showed us, you can access all the employees' training history under the Employee tab. And our last question, if you're a director or a manager, you can perform the following tasks. A, update non-EOF employee profile names and emails. B, edit school information. C, edit log trainings. D, deactivate employees, or E, all of the above. And our results. Correct answer is E, all of the above. Well done, everyone. Now we're going to highlight some additional team nutrition professional standard resources. All of the professional standard resources can be found in one location, the Professional Standards Resources page, which you can find at the link listed at the bottom of the slide. Here you'll find links to the revised guide to professional standards training badges, the newly released Professional Standards Summary of Updates flyer, the Professional Standards Training Database, the PSTTT, and past recorded webinars on the PSTTT. Once today's webinar is made available, you'll be able to access the recording here as well. Last December, the revised guide to professional standards for school nutrition programs was released online. The guide is a central resource that comprehensively outlines the USDA professional standards requirements for state and local school nutrition professionals who manage and operate the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. The resource was updated to reflect the 2019 hiring flexibilities that Ebony touched on and includes useful information regarding where to find training, how to record it, and links to other resources. The guide also includes ideas to engage and motivate staff to complete annual training requirements, such as incorporating a badge program. That was mentioned earlier as part of our tracking tool. More about badges in the next slide. We expect the guide to be available in print version later this fall. Similar to the badges that can be earned on the PSTTT, the updated guide includes new training reward badges as stickers. These sticker badges can be used to motivate school nutrition professionals and add some fun to completing annual training requirements. Those who use the PSTT will earn achievement badges when they complete one or more trainings under a specific key area. For those who need additional stickers, the separate Professional Standards Training Reward Badges packet will be available to order later this fall. And the Professional Standards Summary of Updates flyer, which can also be found on the resources webpage, was just released on August 11th. It provides a quick snapshot of the hiring standards and annual training requirements. The two-page flyer is your quick and easy reference for the key professional standards requirements. This revised version includes the hiring flexibilities established in 2019. For school nutrition professionals looking for additional training opportunities, Team Nutrition maintains a professional standards training database. The database includes over 500 free or low-cost trainings available to help boost essential job-related skills and knowledge in the areas of program operation, program administration, nutrition, and communications and marketing. The training database includes trainings from ICN, state agencies, and food industry, as well as webinars from USDA, like this one. We accept trainings from all sources. If you have a training you would like to have included on the database, please submit it to us for review. If you're interested in more training opportunities, check out the Team Nutrition website for recorded webinars on various resources, including the Food Buying Guide and the Be in the Know webinar series highlighting crediting updates. The Institute of Child Nutrition, commonly referred to as ICN, or the Institute, offers self-paced online trainings for child nutrition program operators through their iLearn portal. Currently, there are over 100 online courses available for both school nutrition and CACFP. Available topics include program meal pattern requirements, culinary techniques, food safety, child health and wellness, human resource topics, inventory management, and financial management of school nutrition programs. All of ICN's trainings are also offered as training resources for child nutrition program operators. And you can download training instructor manuals, participant workbooks, PowerPoint slides, and pre-post assessments so you can conduct your own training for your program staff. As we wrap up, I'd like to highlight the new back-to-school web pages that Team Nutrition has created to help state agencies, SFAs, schools, and others to adjust their meal service operations in response to procurement challenges. You can also find information that shows how schools can use the waivers and flexibilities to help with menu planning and meal service this school year. This webpage is available at the web address shown on the slide, or you can also use your phone or your tablet's camera to scan the QR code at the bottom right corner. Once you scan the code, the web page should automatically open on the device. If you're interested in learning more, there's a webinar called Planning for a Dynamic School Environment, Guidance for Meal Service Flexibilities for School Year 2021-22 tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll put the registration link in the chat box, or you can take a look at the Team Nutrition e-newsletter from earlier this week that has information for the upcoming webinars. Team Nutrition has also released an online back-to-school resource kit, which you can access by scanning the QR code or via the link as you see on your screen. In addition to the Planning for a Dynamic School Environment materials we just spoke about, this page also includes other resources to help support a safe reopening, plan meals and menus, and communicate with students and families. So this concludes our presentation. We really appreciate you joining us today. Unfortunately, we are out of time for a live Q&A. However, we have captured the questions that are in the Q&A box, and we can respond to those via email in the next week or two. So if you do have, we just put in the chat box our NTAB mailbox contact email address. It's the same one as that's on the slide. So if you have a question that you haven't asked yet in the Q&A, you can email us at that address, or if you've already put it in the Q&A, you're welcome. Just know that we will capture those questions and we will be responding via email. We want to let you know that if you have questions regarding these specific technical resources, such as the PSTTT, please contact our branch at the email address shown there. It's the same one as on the chat box. For all other technical related questions, such as crediting or CN labeling, please continue to work with your state agency or your regional office contacts. And finally, please visit our website and subscribe to our bi-monthly e-newsletter. Connect with us via email at teamnutrition@usda.gov and follow us on Twitter for a lot of great information. Before closing out of the WebEx browser today, please make sure to fill out our brief post-webinar survey. Your feedback really helps us decide how we run these webinars and what to cover. And if you would like to receive a continuing professional education unit certificate from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Commission on Dietetic Registration, you can provide your CDR identification number in the